Eyes on the Ball. Eyes on the Ball brings you the charming young singing star of the airwaves, Monica Lewis, the Alfredo Antonini Ensemble, and presents as the Better Vision yarn spinner the nation's outstanding sports commentator, Bill Stern. Guardian Angels, please form a line on the right in answer to this musical plea from Monica Lewis, someone to watch over me.
There's a somebody I'm longing to see. I hope that he turns out to be someone who'll watch over me. I'm just like a babe who's lost in the world. I know I could be to one who'll watch over me. Although he may not be the man some girls think of as handsome, to my heart he carries the key. You tell him please to put on some speed, follow my lead, oh how I need someone who watch over me. Although he may not be the man some girls think of as handsome, to my heart he carries the key. Won't you tell him please to put on some speed, follow my lead, oh how I need someone to watch over me.
It's teamwork and eye work on the gridiron, as Bill Stern, the Better Vision yarn spinner, points out in his story this week called Eyes Score Touchdowns. Bill Stern.
Many times during a football season, I've noticed a team file off the gridiron at halftime on the wrong end of the score. Then, when the second half got underway, the losing team had seemed to take advantage of obvious faults by their opponents and shortly would pull up even. In many cases, they'd go on to win. One particular example of this situation was the game between Notre Dame and Southern California back in 1931. I consider this one of the most thrilling comebacks in football history, a comeback made possible by what players and coaches had seen during the first half. As the two teams filed back onto the gridiron for the second half of that game, Notre Dame held a 14-0 lead. Then Southern California went to work. The Trojans pushed closer and closer towards the Irish goal line, and finally, with only 12 minutes left to play in the game, Southern California scored. When they got the ball again, they continued to make use of what they'd seen, and they pushed over the Notre Dame goal line for the second time, but that wasn't quite enough. The Irish still led 14-13. The Trojans were still confident that they could go on to victory, and they pushed to the Irish 42-yard line, but time was running out. So they decided to try for a field goal. The ball came back, quarterback Orv Mahler spotted it, and guard Johnny Baker booted it straight and true for the uprights. It was a heartbreaking second for Trojan rooters as that pigskin sailed towards the goalpost. But eventually it split the uprights, and the Trojans had won 16-14 in the last minute of the game, all because of weaknesses the Trojans had seen during the first half. Many critics of football feel that the game is merely a pushing contest between two teams of 11 husky individuals, but I regard it as a sport in which you must watch for opportunities. You must be alert and spot weaknesses, which often mean the difference between victory and defeat. Let's take the team on offense. Here the quarterback is the brains. He must watch for openings as well as call signals. He spots a weakness in the opposition, and the signal he calls directs a play at that weakness. Perhaps he sees a defensive halfback playing too deep or a guard who's not changed properly. Well, he'll pick a play out of the team's repertoire to take advantage of that weakness, and before long, his team has scored. He must know when to call for a forward pass. The passer must have exceptional eyesight to spot a receiver, know by his stride which way that receiver is going to cut for the pass. And the kicker must watch the safety man to know in which direction he must angle the ball so it will not be taken by a tricky runner who may scoot for a touchdown. The defensive team must also have its collective eyes open just as well. Many times a coach has told me after a game that one of his linemen, an obscure guard or a tackle, had tipped him off to a weakness on the other team. And a quick opening play had resulted in a touchdown that won the game. A defensive player must watch the ends, the halfbacks, for a tip-off as to whether they're going down the field for a forward pass. Often a player will change his position slightly if the play is to be a pass, but the other team takes advantage of that telltale sign. These little pointers on football show that the winning team is not always the better team. It may be the smarter, or it might be the more observing.
An old favorite in a new setting by the Alfredo Antonini Ensemble, Fiolito Lindo. A champion's split-second timing is the result of split-second seeing. When his eyes falter, he falters. And so it is with us in our everyday lives. Good seeing is the key to good earning and producing power. Good seeing is the key to good living, to happiness and success. That's why it's the soundest common sense to keep an eye on our eyes at all times, to guard them from strain, to keep them working at top efficiency to do well the 1,001 seeing jobs they must do every day. It's not always easy, however, to be certain that our eyes are in tip-top condition unless we have a regular eyesight checkup by the men and women whose professional counsel and care and whose scientific skills can be relied on to tell us the truth about our eyesight. If it is the highest wisdom to get reliable vision counsel, care, and correction, it's the height of folly to take chances with the only eyes we'll ever have. They mean so much to us, for good vision is the gateway to knowledge, happiness, and success. Sweet thoughts expressed in a soft voice. Monica Lewis sings Whisperin'.
Whispering while you cuddle near me, whispering so no one can hear me. Each little whisper seems to cheer me. I know it's true, there's no one dear but you. You're whispering why you'll never leave me, whispering why you'll never grieve me. Whisper and say that you believe me, whispering that I love you. Whispering while you cuddle near me, whispering so no one can hear me. Each little whisper seems to cheer me. I know it's true, there's no one there but you. You're whispering why you'll never leave me, whispering why you'll never grieve me. Whisper and say that you believe me, whispering that I love you. You're whispering why you'll never leave me, whispering why you'll never grieve me. Whisper and say that you believe me, whispering that I love you.
More of our favorite songs by Monica Lewis next week, and more music by the Alfredo Antonini Ensemble. And Bill Stern, the Better Vision yarn spinner, will take us on another little journey into the thrilling world of sport. Eyes on the Ball is presented for your listening pleasure each week at this time with the reminder, guard well the only eyes you'll ever have.